Howdy, freelancers, consultants, anybody looking to build a business of their own so that they can live the kind of life they want. So, the next 5 episodes, I want to talk a little bit about specializing your business or niching down or niching down, depending on where you are in the planet, on the planet, rather. And this comes to me really because in episode 15, Sarah Dunn, who's actually documenting her whole journey on YouTube about specializing her web agency, asked me how I specialized, how I came about it, what was my process in thinking, what was I scared of, those kind of things. And it got me to think a little bit about answering questions that other people are asking, right? And because I did it so long ago, the drastic change of my business was so many years ago, I didn't document any of these things. I just kind of went about it. But I noticed after talking with Sarah that there are points in my business over the past couple of years that I've refined my niche. And I want to explore what some of these things were over the next couple of episodes and really help you in defining your niche or specializing in your business in a more tactful and approachable way. So the first question I want to answer is why should you niche or specialize? And I think you know the answer, but hopefully I can elaborate a little bit more and shed some more light on the subject. I always like to use the analogy of doctors in this case, right? So your general practitioner is someone who you go to when you have a cold or you're sick, right? You oftentimes want that general practitioner close to you in location wise, right? You don't want to have to travel too far. You also want somebody who's reasonable in cost too, right? Like you may see them more than several times a year, right? So you don't want to pay tens of thousands of dollars to see this person. And ultimately, you want someone who, if they retired tomorrow, you could probably find someone else pretty quickly that would do the same thing that you need, right? To be able to cure your ailments. Now, on the other hand, if you need brain surgery, how do all of those things change, right? For one, you want the best, right? Even if you have to travel a bit, you'll go out of your way for that. You probably won't even consider cost as a part of your consideration in choosing them, right? I mean, it might come up in your thinking, but in the end, you'll push that consideration, that decision point aside for now. There's a drastic difference in mindset here. When you niche or you specialize, more than a few things become widely apparent. First, you become efficient in what you do because you continue to do it time and time again. Every time you do something, you get just that bit faster, maybe even find better ways of doing it, right? You always learn something each and every time you do that same thing over and over again, which brings me to point number 2. You learn the ins and outs of your specialty. You learn about your customers more. You learn about industry standards, how things are done and expected to be done. And more importantly, you start to learn the language of that specialty. Thirdly, you become the expert as you solve the same problem over and over again, as especially more efficiently and quickly too. You are that expert. As the expert, you could command those higher fees and prices. I mean, that's where it comes from because you get better and better at doing these things. And lastly, it's ultimately a lower risk for the lead to go with you versus someone who's general, right? The lead wants the best. If they truly understand their needs and they are not looking to just keep up with the Joneses, so to speak, they're going to look for the best. So when you need your car fixed, you aren't going to call a carpenter, right? And when you need an extension on your house, you're not going to call your mechanic, right? Not saying that each one couldn't do it, but they might have to learn some stuff in order to get it done, right? And that's the idea behind a generalist versus a specialist, right? Not saying that a web developer couldn't work on e-commerce sites, right? Sure, they do. But if you have an e-commerce specialist, they've already paved their path through that. They've kind of weeded out the inefficiencies in the process. So they know what they already know. And the generalist doesn't know. So you're essentially have to learn all of these things. Now, because the lead knows what it is that you do and that you have solved this problem for others, you become a lower risk for them to sign with you because you have a proven track record of success. And ultimately, that's why you niche. So that even before they meet you, you've already sold them due to your track record of success. I'd love to be able to continue this conversation on more. If you are thinking about specializing, message me. Hit me up on Twitter at Rezzz and let me know what you're thinking about, where you are. Have you done it? Have you done it recently? Let me know. Let's have a conversation. So until next time, it's your time to live in the feast.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.